In the White Tiger Guild headquarters, Baek Yoo-hoo is reflecting upon Jinwoo's limitless growth and wants to initiate Plan B. He is shocked to see when he checks the notification he just received on his phone. He sees that Jinwoo's name is not present in the list of hunters for an upcoming search and destroy mission. On the other hand, Mr. Goto and Sugimoto Raizi, Draw Sword Guild's vice guild master, are discussing Jinwoo's power and his absence on the list of hunters participating in the Jeju Island raid. The team consisted of Chae Jong-in, Ma Dong-wook, Baek Yoon-ho, Cha Hae-in, Im Tae-gyu, and Min Byung-gu. The scene then shifts to Halansan Bangnagdam, a crater on top of Mount Hala where the Ant Queen and her army live. The Queen has come to the conclusion that she and her army can no longer live on the island due to the lack of food, which has led to the ant children resorting to cannibalism. The Queen concluded that they need stronger soldiers. We see a large egg where the ultimate soldier of the kingdom is about to hatch, from which will make enemies tremble with fear. As soon as the soldier is born, he envelops the entire ant kingdom in its aura and lets out a massive screech. The Queen says, the soldier needs to grow stronger and stronger to make sure this goal is accomplished. We are then taken to Jinwoo's apartment, where he has returned with his mom and sister. Jinwoo sees that his place has become a mess while he was gone to the demon castle, as no one took care of it. His mother tells how it's been 4 years since they cleaned his place and suggests they clean it up together with a smile. Jinwoo nods, smiling back to agree. While they were cleaning the room, complaining about the state of the house, Jinwoo's mother asks whether they have heard any news about their father, to which he sadly answers no, and wonders how his mother would react when she gets to know that he, like his father, has become a hunter. His mother has stayed in this old shabby apartment even though they can afford a far better apartment because she has been holding hope for his father to return back here, and realizes how much his mother needs him and contemplates on the Jeju Island raid. We shift to a press conference where a man explains the terrifying rate at which the ants have evolved between the first and second raids, where the ants had become gigantic, and during the third raid the evolution was so rapid that the ants are now able to walk like humans and have smaller heads for agile movement. The ants also use their limbs like hands. These changes happened in a span of 2 years. In the most recent incident, which occurred in Japan, they looked even more humanoid and also had wings giving them the ability to fly. The Korean and Japanese hunters have been brought together to fight this threat, to which an expert commented that normal hunters would run away as soon as they look at these ants, so that they return in a single piece with all limbs intact, to which another lady remarks about brave hunters that have come out of retirement to participate in the raid. Jinwoo reads the hate comments posted online on the news of Jinwoo not participating in the raid. Jinwoo doesn't care about these comments, but wonders what Sister Jinho would feel and react to these posts. He was being recognized by passers-by as he walked along the road and got interrupted by a call from Jin-ho and asked if he was still living in a motel. Jin-ho replies saying he found an apartment with his mother's help and he also has found an office space. When Jinwoo arrived at the office, Jin-ho explained that the guild needed an office. Jinwoo questioned whether the office is too big for just the two of them, to which Jin-ho explains that to open a guild you need a guild master, a sub-guild master, and an employee along with 3 hunters, which makes Jinwoo realize he needs to recruit more members or just one more person to fill in the headcount. Jinho then mentions that a foreigner who spoke English wanted to meet Jinwoo and handed him a business card. He explained that he was told to contact him as soon as possible as they will be staying in Korea till 17th September only. This gets Jinwoo thinking of who this person might be. Suddenly Jinwoo gets alerted and uses Shadow Exchange and leaves saying that he needs to get back home, confusing and startling Jinho, who had never seen Shadow Exchange before. We then see that near Jinwoo's neighborhood, a psychotic man is holding up a knife near a young lady's throat, threatening to kill her while having a wide grin on his face, saying he loves this neighbor because many people died here. A voice from behind says that he too likes the neighborhood. The thug turns around to see Jinwoo, who questions his actions. The psychotic thug replies saying he has no reason and does not want to be lectured and wants to have fun. He then dashes towards Jinwoo and repeatedly stabs him just to see no damage has been inflicted on Jinwoo. Jinwoo says that he understands that feeling, and if he were to be consumed by that feeling, it is tough to go back to normal, he says, as he slashes his legs, bringing the psychopath down. He glares at the girl and tells her to get back home before it's too dark, and the girl flees instantly. Jinwoo tells the thug to turn himself in before midnight, that is, if he wants to live, and hopes he isn't killed due to High Orc's impatience. He walks off, stating that the Jeju Island raid starts tomorrow. The next day, a helicopter carrying all the hunters hunters flies towards Jeju Island. Meanwhile, Goto Ryuji, holding his phone, trembles, remembering his fight with Jinwoo felt like death, and laughs at himself for being too sensitive. Fleets of ships are seen off of the coast of China, Taiwan, and Jeju Island. The massive fleet near Jeju Island comprises of 2 Sejong the Great Aegis-class destroyers. The Great-class destroyer plus 12 others escort ships have been deployed off the northern coast of Jeju Island. Jung-soo is shown commanding his team to be on their toes, as the ants may swarm at any time. Yoon-tae asks Jung-soo if their strategy would even work against the evolved ants, to which Jung-soo replies that they will never know unless they try. He says that their responsibility is to make sure no ants reach the mainland, as they are the line of defense that makes sure the mainland isn't breached if things go wrong. Yoon-tae's energy is rejuvenated, looking at Jung-soo's confident judgment. We then see the Fame Guild, where Dong-wook entrusting the rear defense and also saying his farewell to the Vice Guild Master, who says that they don't need to worry about the rear defense as they are more like the standby team who will most likely end up not doing much today. Dong-wook suggests that they can teach the guild members tactics as all of them are gathered together, to which the Vice Guild Master points out that her title doesn't come with any responsibility and probably can't lead drills. Dong-wook appreciates her management skills, responsible for the significant growth of the guild and being the designer of the guild logo, as well as expanding the types and varieties of activities. The Vice Guild Master expresses her uneasiness of sending him off, like he requests Dong-wook to be careful and come back alive. After which Dong-wook bids farewell to his guild members and leaves. Meanwhile, Taegyu is on a call arguing with someone over the deployment of Min-sung over on the south end of the island, as the ants can show up any time and Min-sung needs to be shifted all the way back to the rear end as he is worth too much. However, the person on the other end of the call explains that the deployment is finished and no changes can be made, to which Taegyu tells that Min-sung should be made sure to hide, and that is his only job. The scene shifts to deployment of hunters of each guild to the south provinces of Korea as per the request of the Hunters Association, where Lee Min-sung is surrounded by reporters. The hunters are stationed as such to avoid the possibility of the remaining ants invading the mainland even after the raid has succeeded. Hunters from the Hunters Association including Son Gi-hoon, Lee Bora, Gina, and other guild members are stationed there. The strike force is centered around a B ranker, supported by 3 C rankers, and at least 10 D rankers form the line of defense at the mainland. The squad contained hunters who had retired and even those who chose to be hunters after their awakening. In total, 5,000 people were chosen, which is about 1/10 of the total 50,000 awakens the nation. We shift to the helicopter flying to Mount Halasan, boarded by S-rank hunters. We are introduced to a cameraman who specializes in filming hunters and raids, who will be broadcasting the whole raid to the entire country with a 10-minute delay, wherein the editors can edit out anything too explicit for the audience. Yoonho expresses his concern of a cameraman joining them in such a dangerous situation and what Chairman Go Gun-hee was thinking, and that the cameraman has to look after himself. The cameraman reveals that he is an A-rank hunter and reassures them that he manages himself. Many awakened lead a normal life if they don't like the whole idea of raids. The cameraman continues by saying that this isn't his first time being put in the middle of a dangerous raid and has been a part of many dungeon breaks, but we can see his handles trembling as he is anxious of the raid. Dong-wook reassures the cameraman to not be nervous and says that this will probably be the first and last time civilians get to see an S-rank raid. Yoonho says that this time they will beat the ants when Dong-wook reminds him of the previous 3 bitter defeats on the island. Yoonho thinks to himself that if they fail this time, Korea might get wiped off the map. The scene shifts to Byung-gu as Yoonho says that he didn't think he would come, to which he responds saying he joined the raid as he felt Yoonho might not survive without his heals, as he is the first to rush to attack a monster on sight. Yoonho humorously denies this accusation, putting a smile on the other hunters in the chopper. Hae-in asks Yoonho if he has met Jinwoo before coming here. Yoonho responds that he has not, and he asks why. Hae-in replies saying it's nothing. Dong-wook exclaims now it begins as he notices them reaching the island. Byung-gu's hand trembles. On the island, we see Goto Ryuji's group walking through what used to be Jeju City, which now is an eerie ghost town. They spot carcasses of ants which have been cannibalized. Ryuji begins roll call of his team and orders them to open the floodgates. They release an immense amount of mana to lure the ants. The S-rank hunters in in the helicopter watch this sight in awe. Jong-in comments that the Japanese hunters have started their operation. The ants emerge from Mount Hallison, with some attacking the South Korean hunters' helicopter. Jong-in stands at the helicopter's opening, confidently saying that he will handle these ants. He uses an attack called Flame Spear, which creates 3 spears of pure fire, which explode on contact with the ants. Byung-gu is amazed by the power of the attack, which Jong-in downplays himself, stating it not quite impressive. On realizing that more firepower is needed to wipe out the ants, he urges his team to brace for turbulence and throws a massive fireball at the ants, obliterating them. He notices the evolution of the ants' power from before, as they have developed resistance that requires attacks beyond what is required for clearing A-rank dungeons. Jong-in descends from the helicopter on his flames, saying he needs to get a feel for their new capabilities. Dong-wook, concerned about Jong-in's welfare, is reassured by Hai-in, who is sure that he will be fine as his fire magic is suited for handling multiple foes at once. The Japanese carrier Kaga is being operated by the Vice Guild Master of Blade Guild, Sugimoto, who orders to initiate the interference wave transmission to jam signals on Jeju Island, which immediately affects the antennas of the ants, who can no longer communicate with the queen or respond to her cry for help if attacked. We focus on Team Bravo, where Tawada slashes an ant right next to Atsushi, saving him. Tawada scolds Atsushi to be more alert of his surroundings, or he can get killed. Over at Team Charlie, Shimizu and Fujishima believe that all the teams together can end all the ants before the Korean team kills the queen. Fujishima asks where Kenjo is too, to which Shimizu replies he is playing hide and seek and is snapping off the wings off all the flying ants even though he isn't a kid. Team Delta, Kei and Izawa notice fireworks near the ant cave, thinking it might be Jong-in. He wonders what would happen if he fought Jong-in with his ice powers, as we see a swarm of ants behind them frozen by his powers. We see the hunters in the ant tunnels inside Mount Hallison. They mention that this place is called Beckrock Dam, previously famous for its beauty, now reduced to nothing but an ant colony. Jong-in creates a flame prison that will keep the ants below B rank from entering, which is opposite from the usual use of capturing enemies in. Jong-in starts searching for the cave entrance by casting a spell. On casting the spell, a barrage of fireballs appears above them, and he directs the fireballs into the ant tunnels. Yunho watches in shock and exclaiming that it is dangerous. Jong-in explains that the ants' lair is like a labyrinth, and entering a random path could lead them to dead ends or loop around the place, just like these fireballs exploring each entrance. The fireballs travel through various tunnels, and he notices one tunnel and comments that he thinks that this is the way. Yunho feels a boost in confidence due to Jong-in just being in the team. Jong-in leads the team further into the tunnel. We shift to the mainland and see Jinwoo just completing a 10-kilometer run, and we can see a stat sheet of all his abilities like strength, health, agility, intelligence, awareness, AP, and physical damage resistance. He notices the neighborhood being more silent than usual and concludes it is due to the Jeju Island broadcast. Jinwoo thinks that the S-rank hunters from Korea and Japan are very powerful, and there is no need to watch the broadcast as he is confident about their abilities and are capable enough of completing the raid as long as nothing goes off track from the devised plan. Back at Jeju Island, an ant is pierced by an arrow shot by Taegyu. Jong-in sees that except for a few ants, all have left the tunnel, confirming their predictions. Taegyu notes that he has never seen ants like these before and might be the queen's bodyguards, but seem weak for that post and have deteriorated eyes, which is an adaptation for working in a dark cave. He adds that if this is true, then it will make things easier as they have ample firepower to handle them. Byung-gu expresses his concerns, wondering if the queen is nearby or has fled, abandoning her army. Yunho dismisses this idea as the queen can't escape the place as it is an island. The cameraman wonders if the camera is able to get clear footage in this dark environment and reassures himself, thinking the HQ staff will fix it. The team ventures further with a fireball in Jong-in's hand. They discover the ants' hatchery and the queen's chambers are likely nearby, and the ants they fought before were here to protect them. He adds that he is going to set the eggs on fire, but is interrupted by Hai-in, who notices a different looking egg, much larger than the rest of them. Byung-gu is mortified on the thought of an ant that large coming out of the egg, and what kind of ant it would be. A bodyguard, he speculates. Yunho stops his train of thought to remind him of the main goal of beating the queen, and to forget everything else. Byung-gu understands yet is concerned within. Yunho thinks in his mind, understands Byung-goo's concern, but they need to focus on the task at hand. The team stares at the monstrous egg before we shift to Team Charlie, where Shimizu, Fujishima, and Kenjo. Shimizu teases Kenjo, calling him a mess. Kenjo replies saying it was a bit more trouble than he initially thought as they attacked him in formations using some semblance of orders. He got 30 of the ants, but they injured his shoulder and side. Shimizu jokes around asking if he needs a heal, and if he does, he would have to pay for it. Kenjo calls her a pain and orders her to heal him up. Shimizu retorts saying it is not money she wants out of him. Kenjo says that she makes more money than him, as she was obsessed with money from a young age. He notices more ants flying and tells her to not waste more time. As he turns back to face Shimizu, to his astonishment, he sees her head is suddenly sliced off in an instant. Kenjo and Fujishima are in shock and utter disbelief on realizing that she has been killed by an opponent in a blink of an eye. Kenjo alerts Fujishima to be careful as the opponent is probably nearby. Before he could finish his words, an ant with red glowing eyes rushes at him. Kenjo attempts to punch and fight back, but is quickly defeated as the ant crushes his head and kills Kenjo. Fujishima, in complete shock on seeing both of his teammates killed in an instant, charges forward to attack with his sword, but before he could attack, his head is sliced off clean. We are shown a pan-out shot of the whole of Team Charlie being defeated, with all three being defeated in an instant by an extremely fast and powerful ant.